And to me, it felt like the Tesla moment was interesting in so many ways of like, they're not a fintech company. They don't have any banking things. They haven't talked about Bitcoin. And it is just like a small piece of their balance sheet. And they are one of the world's largest tech companies that seemingly didn't have a stake in this game, but now all of a sudden is playing it. So to me, that was interesting because now I'm like, okay, that opens the door a lot quicker for Apple, for Amazon, for Google. And I'm waiting to know, and I'm kind of curious your take on who's that next big shoe to drop, because I have to bet all those companies, if they weren't, we're probably talking about it, but now they're really talking about it because Tesla did it. And they know the next time Amazon announces they're buying, it's at 100K or 75K of Bitcoin. So the FOMO, I really think has got to start kicking in for this big tech.
Yeah, I think the buy has been de-risks. Now we're still in year one, right? Like year one of institutional adoption of Bitcoin started. You can either say it started in April or it started on August 10th when MicroStrategy dropped the $250 million buy. So, you know, somewhere between April and August. And we're still early. But what you can see is Square put out their announcement yesterday or 2 days ago, and they said they added 1 million new users or 1 million new Bitcoin buyers in January. Okay, and so, they sold like 1.7 billion of Bitcoin in the fourth quarter. PayPal is paying attention. So now you want to play the game of Kingmaker. Here's the dynamic, right? Facebook, Apple, Google, Amazon. Especially, you've got the Facebook, Apple, Google dynamic, right? I mean, Google Android is struggling with iOS. Facebook is sitting between the two of them. They've all got kind of a uncomfortable love-hate co-opetition relationship. If all three of those companies, those big three, because they're all big and mobile, right? Amazon's the fourth, but especially Facebook, Google, and Apple. Those three, if they do nothing, then Square and PayPal are going to consistently and gradually rip away their accounts. The reason that PayPal moved is Square forced them to move. Right? When Square moved, PayPal had to move. Now, PayPal and Square are wrestling with this, and it's possible that all three of the big three do nothing, in which case Square, that's the best thing that could happen for Square and PayPal, right? But it's not likely. There's that phrase, you know, 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. Well, there's 3. Okay, you can keep Bitcoin from exploding through the entire mobile space if all 3 of them agree not to compete with each other. But I don't think that's going to happen. One of them's going to move.
Yeah, and you're making me think of Zuckerberg because he copies everything that's legit, and he copied Libra. That was a huge push. He hired David Marcus, who was the PayPal guy, who was bullish on Bitcoin. So I know Facebook is thinking about, and I think they were doing some sort of remittance payment with WhatsApp in India as well. So I feel like, to me, Facebook seems like the most to integrate into their service, even beyond buying some on their balance sheet, is like just imminent.
In my opinion, Facebook has the most to gain and needs to do this.
Interesting.
Like Apple's got an iron lock on iOS. I mean, look how much power they have. A lot of power. Google has a really, really strong business and an iron lock on Android. Facebook is kind of the odd man out because they need to have a mobile app that's running on iOS and Android. And they're getting pressured by Apple with, the latest privacy token maneuvering, and you can see the sparks flying there. So how do I upgrade my application so that it is so valuable that 1 billion people swear you will have to pry it from their cold, dead fingers? Like when money flows in to Facebook, then that's going to shift the balance of power. And it's, it's offensive and it's defensive. It's a defensive thing. You kind of got to do it to protect yourself against Apple and Google squeezing you on the platform. It's offensive because it's a way to double or triple your value proposition to 1 billion people. I mean, what could be more important than giving 1 billion people a savings account that yields 200% tax-free interest per year? Like, I can't think of something. I also think, you know, the wild card here is Amazon, because this is a chance for, I mean, Amazon Pay, is it critical? I mean, compared to Apple Pay or Google Pay? I mean, no, right? Apple's, if I was in the pay business competing against Apple, I'm thinking, well, these guys control the operating system, they control the device.
Mm-hmm.
You better come up with something really compelling if you're going to compete against the company that controls the device and controls the operating system. Well, one very compelling thing is something that doubles every 6 months. Pretty
And so
compelling.
how do you
I
see?
think Amazon and Facebook, they're the challengers in the mobile space. I think that Amazon's got their own franchise. They can afford to ignore it if they want, and they'll be fine. It's just an opportunity for them. For Facebook, I think it's a necessity for them. They need to build it into WhatsApp and into Facebook Messenger and into the core. Otherwise, they get squeezed. I think Apple and Google, it's an opportunity for them. And if they don't move, then Square and PayPal just get stronger and stronger until somebody notices. That's what I think.
Totally. And I feel like they're already noticing. And even beyond